Welcome to another episode of It's a Long Beach Thing. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and like us on It's a Long Beach Thing on our Facebook group. We have a great show for you today. We are on location in Signal Hill with my new friend, Brandon West. How are you today, Brandon?
Hey, Paul. I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm glad you could be here. Yeah, this is the first live video podcast for you. It's a Long Beach thing.
I think this is awesome. This is a great little venue you have here. How long you been here?
I've been here 3 months. Yeah, just moved here. It's plenty of room, and I've transformed this garage to a video studio.
I was going to ask, so this was not a studio before. You transformed it into a studio.
Yes. Yeah, this was actually owned by an art dealer. So He just had this garage area full of stuff, dirty, so much dirt and dust. And he has a couple other rooms too. But I took it over 3 months ago. Took me some time, a month, to just clear out everything, get all the proper equipment to get this rolling. And we're live. Man.
I'm going to dive into that. But before that, I want to dive into your journey. What brought you to Long Beach in the first place?
Yeah, well, I love Long Beach, first thing. But I moved here May of 2016. I was about 18, turning 19 at the time. And I'm originally from Oklahoma. It's a small town. And even though I'm from Oklahoma, born and raised, I have roots in Long Beach. My parents actually are from California. My mom grew up in Southgate. My dad was in between Oklahoma and California. But in the 80s, they met on the Queen Mary. They both worked there. My dad was a security officer, and my mother was a receptionist at the hotel lobby. And after 5 times of trying to take her on a date, she said yes. That was in the 80s, and then 10, 15 years later, I was born. But I was born in Oklahoma. So that's where it all started. Born and raised in Oklahoma, but graduated high school, and I was lost. Smart kid, I had good grades, but I was going on the wrong track, bad friends, and making poor decisions. And I went to Oklahoma State University. Long story short, I got expelled, moved back home to a small town. There's 65 kids in my graduating class at high school, so it's really small. But I have an aunt and uncle here in Long Beach, living in Naples, and they said, my uncle Bob said, Brandon, you can live here in Long Beach with us as long as you get a job, go to school, and make something of yourself. And so my uncle actually connected me with Boathouse on the Bay, and I started working there as a host. And I enrolled in the Long Beach City College, and a year later he kicked me out, and I've been on my own ever since.
Wow. Lots of impact there. First off, I want to start with 5 years. Talk about persistency. 5 years it took for your mom to say yes on a date? 5 years? Wow.
My mom was 25 when they got married, so they were young, but my dad was 8 years older. And so my dad always told me, like, you want to date a younger girl, so when you get older, she'll take care of you. She'll push you in the wheelchair. And I was like, okay. So that was kind of just ingrained in me. But they actually bought a house in Lake Elsinore. I've never been, but they had a nice house. My brother was born there. He's 5 years older than me. And then 2 years later, my dad's father, my grandfather, paternal grandfather, was getting sick and was passing away. So they moved back to Oklahoma in 1995. And I've been born and raised in Oklahoma. I will say there's a big difference. You said you live over by Wilson High School. You're a Long Beach guy. There's a complete different type of living. I had 10 acres of land, and out here in Long Beach, everybody's so close. There's always something to do. The weather is amazing. I will say that. And the ocean is great. But there's something nice about having a small town, and it makes me, grateful to be living out here. I actually go back to Oklahoma once a year. I see some friends, and it makes me realize how fortunate I am to be living out here.
Yeah, so it must have been almost like a culture shock from where you're at in Oklahoma to Naples. Now, did you have you visit your aunt and uncle in Naples before you moved there, or did you have no idea what Naples was before you moved there?
I visited a handful of times.
Okay.
And I was like, whoa, this is amazing. You know, we were walking the canals, seeing all these big houses. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And my uncle had a 3-story house with a roof. And I was like, wow, this is living out here. I like this. And so I visited a couple times. And so when my uncle gave me the opportunity, I was like, this is it. I'm going. I love California. And I was always a city boy living out in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I moved here, there was a slight, culture shock.
Yeah.
Like my brother, who's 5 years older, moved out at the same time with me. He moved to an apartment with his girlfriend, his wife now, off of Cherry and Anaheim. So back Cambodia town.
Yeah.
And I just remember helping him move in. And it was during the middle of the day, but all these people are walking by. You got some homeless people, and I'm just like on edge. And then about a week later, I was like, oh, this is just how people live out here. There's no reason to worry.
Yeah. That urban feel was probably big time culture shock, especially when you said that you're in an area where you said there's like 20 acres of land, right? I would imagine, I've never been to Oklahoma, but I've been to Texas many times. And what I've noticed about Texas, and I want to see if it's the same thing with Oklahoma, you have a city or a town, and then after you pass that city or town, then it's kind of open area. Is that how it is in Oklahoma?
100%. We had 8 miles taking the highway to get in the town.
Uh-huh.
And so just so much land, flat land. And I actually grew up in a Native American town called Wyandotte. And it's actually had a lot of funding from the Native American tribes. So I was fortunate, even though I'm not Native American, I had a really good, education system. I enjoyed it. I loved it. And I just went back a couple weeks ago, and my friends were telling me about how Wyandotte is progressing, and now they have business classes,
right?
And now they have all these different, vocational courses, and it's like, wow, they got a new cafeteria. I'm like, whoa, I remember the little cafeteria we were in.
A new cafeteria at the college or at the high school?
And we had, it was K through 12.
Got it.
So my friends I had kindergarten with, I also graduated all in Wyandotte. But a little bit bigger town was Miami, Oklahoma. Spelled like Miami. Route 66 drives through it. So that's, some people might know it from that.
Right on. So that culture shock that you were talking about here in California, you have like Long Beach, and then you're going to Lakewood. There's no space. You're Lakewood, and then you're going next town. That had to been a little bit overwhelming for you, getting used to that, where it's just got a nonstop action everywhere you go, especially in Southern California.
Yes, and I didn't leave Long Beach really for the first 2 years of living here. And I didn't have a car either. Yeah. So I rode my bicycle everywhere. Mm-hmm. And I got to know the streets. This is 4th Street. You can take this all. I know all the parallel from Ocean, 2nd Street, Broadway, 4th, 7th.
Yeah.
I know all the streets, and I rode them. So I got accustomed to, I'll say like the waterfront of Long Beach. Like I didn't really go North Long Beach but my first apartment was in Lakewood.
Okay.
Because I was searching, trying to find a good price. I said, whoa, this is a good price here in Lakewood. And I was like, it's a little far. Might have to get a car.
Yeah.
And so I did, and got 2 roommates. And I'm so familiar with the area now. But Long Beach it feels like home. And especially because of Boathouse on the Bay, my first job, I owe a lot of, gratitude to Boathouse on the Bay and the owner, John Morris.
John Morris, yeah.
Yeah. Long Beach legend.
Yep.
Everyone knows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of controversy with the Big Bang on the Bay, right? July 3rd was canceled.
Yeah.
I saw his video about it. He wasn't too happy.
No. And, he's gone through legal battles for the last 2 years, spent all this money on attorney fees. And really, it's the Coastal Commission this year holding him back for red tape, not putting the permit in on time. And I get that. But I also feel like if you really wanted to help the community, you would say, what can we do to get this permit passed in time? But we all missed out, after, 4th of July now. The 3rd of July, people party on the 3rd of July in Long Beach. Big bang.
And Seal Beach as well.
Yeah, they get to view.
Yeah.
And so it was a bummer that Big Bang on the Bay didn't happen this year, but we're pivoting, because I still work with Boathouse. I do all the marketing.
Oh, okay.
And we're pivoting for Labor Day.
Okay.
And we're going to have the fireworks on that Labor Day Sunday and a concert Saturday, the day before. So it's going to be fun. And it's actually the lead singer, his son of Sublime,
Jacob
Castle, and he'll be performing there. So it's going to be super cool. It's a Long Beach thing. Yeah,
it is a Long Beach thing. So let's go back to, you were here a year, and you decided to leave a year in, and that's pretty tough, right? You're on your own a year into being in Southern California, probably way more expensive than it is in Oklahoma. I don't know for a fact, but just looking at statistics, looks like Southern California is much higher. So talk to me about that. Was there a little bit of nerves there on your own a little bit?
Well, I love my uncle. He's made me into who I am. He's given me self-discipline, but after a year, I kind of, got in trouble a little bit. He kicked me out. He said, you have 90 days to figure out a new place to live, which plenty of time, actually.
Yeah.
But I was like, what? I wasn't paying rent at the time. Now it's like, what am I looking for? And I just told everyone, hey, I'm looking for a new place to rent. And my first place, I rented a room from this older lady in the Hole, right over by Cal State Long Beach.
I know exactly.
Like Loins over there, the Hole. I was like, oh, this nice little area. But Judy, old lady Judy, she was so nice to me. But I was 19, 20 at the time, so I'd go out and party, and I'd come home intoxicated. And she was like my grandmother. She's like, I didn't let my kids do this, and I'm not going to let you. So she kicked me out after 10 months.
Oh, man. Okay.
And it sounds like I was a bad kid, but I was just trying to figure it out.
Yeah. And
I made some friends from Long Beach City College. And in my accounting class, I remember I'm still good friends with him. Devin, I told Devin, hey, I'm looking for a place to rent. He's like, let's do it. And we found the Lakewood spot.
Okay.
Lakewood Manor over by the Lakewood Mall. Got the job done, 3-bed, 1-bath.
So were you at the LAC campus or the PCC campus?
The liberal arts, yeah.
Okay, so you were closer to Lakewood then. You were
closer.
Yeah.
And when I was living in, like the 90803, I would Uber to Long Beach City College off of Clark and Carson.
Yeah.
And I remember I didn't have any money, so I'd wait. Oh, it's too expensive now. I'm gonna wait 30 minutes to get it at $7. And now go on Uber, costs $15 to get there. So the price has gone way up.
Yeah. Would you do the carpool service as well there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I was in a rush, I'd have to pay extra. But
yeah,
those first 2 years at Long Beach City, honestly, I love Long Beach City College. I think education is what you make out of it, by the way. But I had out-of-state tuition for the first year. It's like 3 times more, but it was still really affordable.
And you were covering it yourself.
I paid for it I was hosting at the Boathouse. So I had all that money, but I wasn't paying rent for the first year. So, but the second year, I got in-state tuition.
Okay.
Because I proved I was planning to stay here.
Yeah.
Show residency, and it was so cheap. It was like less than $1,000 a semester, I think. I forget.
Love it.
But I wanted to get into Cal State Long Beach.
Okay.
And I was going to school for business. The first year, they didn't accept me. I was like, okay. Well, they're like, you're going to have to finish your 2 years at Long Beach City and then transfer into Cal State Long Beach.
That's a junior.
Yeah. And moved 2 years later, Cal State Long Beach. I decided to go with business finance because I'm a numbers guy. I'm not just numbers made sense. I was like, I'll do business finance. I love the campus there. I had some really great professors. One that I actually still speak with, maybe Michael Tomlin.
That sounds familiar. What subject did he teach?
Marketing.
Okay.
Amazing marketing professor. And he just retired 2 years ago. He didn't like COVID classes.
I bet.
Like online. He liked in person.
He's old school.
And he had that energy. 115 people in class. I remember the first class, it was 2 p.m. And I walk in at 2:02. Everybody's already sitting down. Michael Tomlin says, whoa, look who we got here. Hey, come up on stage. It's like, my heart starts racing. What's going on? It's like, so why do you think you're up on stage right now? It's like, well, if I look at my watch, it's like, because I'm late. He's like, oh, absolutely. And I'm going to make you the fool right now in front of the whole class, and you better not show up late again. I was like, okay, yes, sir. Sat down. Another kid walks in 2 minutes later, and he said, Brandon, get back up here. You know, tell him exactly what I told you.
Oh, geez.
And so it kind of just set the tone for the semester. And I run into Michael Tomlin at Iconics, the gym.
Okay.
And I see him, and he's still...
That's on Ocean, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
He right by the pier.
Yeah.
But I see Michael Tomlin at Iconics, and yeah, he's still a great guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get him to do a podcast too. He's got a lot of marketing knowledge.
I bet.
A lot of sales knowledge.
So you go into, first off, Longbeach City College did you a favor by telling you to go to that school first for 2 years. That saved you a lot of tuition, I would imagine, right?
Yes. I didn't even think about it that way. I was like, I want the university. But Long Beach City had great classes I learned.
Yeah.
And saved me money. Yeah, in the end, now that I look back at it.
Yeah. Which is a tremendous thing. So while you were in school, you said you're a numbers guy. Did you have an inkling of what you wanted to do outside of college?
Well, I actually worked 2 internships.
Okay.
One at the end of Long Beach City as I was transferring, but it was with an investment firm called Halbert Hargrove. They're located here in Long Beach.
Okay.
Have one of their headquarters downtown Ocean and Pine.
Okay.
Up on the Wells Fargo building, the 23rd floor.
Oh, okay.
So I was going to school, and I would go to the internships on my day off. Get there at 7:30 a.m. and I'd walk out on the balcony. It's beautiful looking at the ocean and downtown. But I worked there for a year as an intern, you know, printing out papers and helping the wealth advisors have their meetings and anything like that. It made me realize that that's not what I wanted. I had my tie, had my slacks, and it just wasn't natural to me.
Okay.
And then I asked for a promotion, or I asked, for a raise after a year. I'm like, we don't do that. And I was like, we don't give interns raises. For me, that was my sign. It's time to move on. I'm going to find something else that fits me.
Gotcha.
And then I met Brendan Diet, is the branch manager, of Northwestern Mutual.
Okay.
So it was a sales job, and I got my my life insurance license.
Okay.
And after like 3, 4, 5 months, made me realize, I don't want that either.
Yeah.
So I graduated Cal State Long Beach looking for a sales job and maybe tech, some software sales. But that was right during COVID, middle of COVID, 2020, made me realize, wow, nobody's hiring. I don't know what to do. But I had all this unemployment money, a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
But I gladly took it. I had like $10,000 just on the side. So I said, I'm either going to buy a 3D printer or a drone, just, something to give me a hobby. But I live here in Long Beach. We're at Boathouse on the Bay on the water. It made me realize that the drone was the way to go.
Okay.
I bought a drone, made some fun videos. And then John Morris at Boathouse said, hey, make a video for Boathouse to use the drone. So I did. And it was probably the worst video I've ever made, but John liked it. Boathouse liked it. I was like, oh, okay. And then it was June 15, 2020.
Okay.
And Boathouse is reopening.
Okay.
John says to me, I would go hang out with him, and he'd say, Brandon, we're opening up again, but we can't give out digital menus because of COVID. All right, so we can't give out paper menus because of COVID. We have to do it digitally. How do we do it? I said, well, I'll just make a QR code to your existing website with the menu. It'll be easy. But I looked into their website. It was outdated. It was wrong information, and they didn't know who could really update it. So I'll take it upon myself to rebuild the website. I had my drone, and at that same time, I bought my first camera.
Okay.
Started taking photos of all the food items at Boathouse, and 3-4 months later, I finally had gotten a professional website for the restaurant. I was like, oh, and I went to John, said, hey, here's my monthly price. What do you think? He's like, that's a lot. And I said, really? He said, no, you're good. And so he gave me I had a monthly contract with a retainer. And I said, well, if I could get 10 more of those, I made it.
Yeah.
Didn't work out exactly like that, but
Yeah.
then I started having my camera everywhere I go. And so I got connected with people, and I always wanted to do real estate videography, photos.
Okay.
And then I got connected with Sharon Amarantos, real estate agent.
Oh yeah, out of Seal Beach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like a mother to me.
Yeah.
Love her. She's great. I still work with her.
Is the broker? What's the name of that real estate company?
She's the broker now.
Okay,
Yeah, she started on little brokerage.
Well, it was an older. It was a guy who's a standout in Seal Beach area, from Pittsburgh area. What was his name?
Oh, I'm not familiar, but
Okay.
we will have to ask
Okay,
Sharon.
got it.
She'll
Okay,
know.
yeah. Oh yeah, she definitely knows. I'm hoping that he's still alive, because he was older when I knew him. He was in his late 80s, but he was still walking up and down the street of Main Street in Seal Beach there. And Sharon was working for him, his best agent.
I'm gonna have to ask
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. Jim Casana. Jim Casana.
Okay. Yeah.
So, have you heard the name or?
No.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
maybe I'm too young. Only 8 years here in Long Beach.
Okay. Yeah. Sharon would know, and he might still be around. So, so you start doing stuff with Sharon.
Yeah, and I went to show up to her properties, film, and really just got the experience.
Yeah.
I was learning how to operate the camera.
Yeah.
And learning how to do good work. And building up the skill set. So I'm still building up my skill set.
Yeah.
Still learning new things.
Yeah.
But after graduating Cal State Long Beach, I enrolled into YouTube University.
That's what you call it. Oh,
That's
just
what I
looking up videos on how to do X, Y, and Z.
I still learn on YouTube. If there's something new, I'll save a video and come back to it. But that's my business, pretty much, doing photos, videos, and websites for local businesses. And now this podcast is the next offering. But it's fun because I went to school for business, and I like learning about new industries.
Yeah.
I actually just got connected with this logistics company up in Seattle.
Okay.
They do drayage, trucking from the Seattle Tacoma port. And Bruce McRae actually connected me.
Oh, nice. From UPS. Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
A mentor of mine, and I met him through Boathouse. So again, it all comes back to Boathouse.
Yeah.
Connected. But I can take on projects that aren't in a specific niche, and I get to learn new areas. And maybe one day I'll actually understand how the world works.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you understand how the world works, please tell me, because I don't know how the world works. But I think that's great. Are you now connected with the? Do you go to the Long Beach broker meeting there on Thursdays?
No, but isn't that over at like the Seal Beach Yacht Club?
Yes, right in there. Yeah, right in the Seal Beach Yacht Club.
I haven't gone, but that's probably my next networking meeting. That would be perfect.
I mean, they are always looking for people to sponsor the breakfast. And then as a result of you sponsoring the breakfast, they give you 15, 20 minutes to present. I think that would be a hit, especially you're in front of, 50 to 70 realtors.
That's a really good idea. Maybe make a panel out of it.
Yeah.
Get my camera set up and showcase what we can do. No, that's a good idea.
Yeah. We'll talk after. I know the person that puts it on.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, that's cool. So where do you said podcast is the next thing. I think you mentioned to me that this is kind of like the guinea pig of the podcasting world for you, right? So tell me, where do you like to expand it? You said podcasting. What else?
Well, really, it's just doubling down what I'm already doing. Podcast is the next initiative I'm taking on, but really video content, social media, Instagram reels, they're necessary, Yeah. Everyone has their own brand, but I still work with a handful of restaurants. One that I actually am really proud of is started working with George's Greek Cafe.
Okay, down on Second Street. Now, is the one on Pine still around?
Yeah, so the owner, Nikki,
Yeah.
her parents started.
George passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, they passed away about 5 years ago, but her and her brother were running it. And then Nikki's brother moved up to Solvang Winery. So Nikki said, all right, I'm going to take it on. They sold off the Pine Lakewood location.
Oh, the Lakewood's also sold? Okay.
And so the only family-owned George's Greek Cafe is the one on 2nd Street in Belmont Shore.
Is it still called George's on Pine and in Lakewood?
Same name.
So,
and that's the confusing part. because Nikki was telling me that she'd have customers come in and say, what happened to the Pine location? You know, it was terrible service. The food wasn't the same. And so I do her video content. I said, this is a good idea right here. We need to do a video, Nikki, where you're explaining, you know, your story and how Belmont Shore location is your only family-owned George's Creek. And we just did that a couple of weeks ago, and it hit like 100,000 views, and she's got more followers now. But I really liked her story, George's Creek. That's another like Long Beach thing. You know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, big time.
So, you know, I've been here 8 years, and I'm so fortunate that I've been connected to all of these like family-owned, like Long Beach rooted businesses. And so I don't plan on leaving. Who knows what the future has for me, but Long Beach is perfect. I think the weather's great. There's always something to do.
Yeah.
And the people are great, you know?
Yeah. I want to go back to something you said earlier where you're talking about how, like, you know, you're in your 20s and figuring it out like most 20-year-olds are. Where did the maturity come in? Because I would imagine there was a time in your life going, well, you know, yeah, I would like to go out and party and such, but I got kicked out of my uncle's house. I got kicked out of this older Judy.
Yeah.
You got kicked out of her house. Now I know you're rooming with friends, so I'm assuming that obviously there might have been some partying there, but there had to have been some maturity from you to go, you know what? If I want to make something in my life, especially you're an entrepreneur, there's got to be sacrifices.
Well, I'm still trying to make sacrifices, but
Yeah.
I think the maturity, I'm still working on that too.
Yeah,
but
as we all are.
The discipline came from my uncle. When I moved in, I moved in the summer of 2016, but the school semester started in August, September, and my uncle said, you have a curfew, Sunday night through Thursday night at midnight, and Monday through Friday you have to wake up and be ready by 8 a.m. It's like, all right, it doesn't sound too tough.
Yeah.
But there was one morning, it was 8:15, my uncle yells out, Brad, and I'm like, shit, and my heart starts racing. I'm like getting ready to take a quick shower. And he was downstairs. He always had his Wall Street Journal with his coffee. And he said, Brad, if you pull this shit again, you're out of here. So it was serious. And I was like, whoa, I don't know how to take care of myself right now.
Yeah.
But I think my uncle knew that. And, after a year, he knew I was ready.
Yeah.
But my uncle still, the things that he taught me, that discipline is still in use. Like I think about that. And, but also he got me into drinking coffee, and I think that was good. I like it black.
Okay.
And I'll still, I'm really interested in current events, politics. And it was because of that Wall Street Journal. Every morning before school, I would look through it, read the things I was interested in, and go off about my day. So that played a big role. But a lot of it is just, I moved up in Boathouse really fast because of, I'll call it the Oklahoma work ethic. I think it comes from, I played football in high school. And a lot of people played football, but my sophomore year was the first year I played. Mostly, I was the backup quarterback, really slow, but I can throw the ball pretty well. And we had a coach who was just hard on us, 2-a-days during the summer. And it was, that built up a lot of work ethic. And I wanted to make a name for myself. So I would, push myself, and I would, try and keep up with the seniors. And I think that kind of built it a little bit. But also, even growing up in Oklahoma, we had all the, 20 acres, and we had 2 sets of properties. And when a storm would come in, all the brush would come to the ground, and my dad would bring my brother and I on a Saturday morning. He said, get ready, let's go. And we'd have to go clean up, mow the grass, big tractor and stuff like that. And I dreaded it, but it had to be done. And all that just kind of built the work ethic. So when I came here to Long Beach, started working in a restaurant, it's just easy. I was just, out competing everyone else because they didn't really care. Yeah. And I think I really love Boathouse. I really love who I work with. And the things I do. So I just want to go all in.
And you took pride in your work, sounds like.
Yeah. And I remember there was one time that made me realize I did that I actually had the work ethic, because I was walking through the hall of Boathouse in between the tables, and there was just a linen on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I picked it up and I threw it to where it needed to go. And I didn't think anything of it, but John Morris, the owner, grabbed me on the shoulder right after and he said, "I saw that. Keep it up." And I thought, oh, okay. All right. And not too many people know about this, but the Boathouse actually has a Duffy boat. John Morris owns a Duffy boat, and he'll rent it out to his VIPs, to his friends. And so 3 months into working at Boathouse, I realized there's a Duffy. It's like, we have a boat? And I asked the guy before me, I said, "How do you get a job like that?" He said, "Let me show you." So the Duffy is a big part of who I am too, because I've met so many people in Long Beach. That's how I got connected and, got different jobs and have different clients through the Duffy boat now.
So you drove the Duffy boat for the Boathouse?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's always a good time on the Duffy.
Oh, yeah. Everybody's having fun, yeah.
And I actually still manage the schedule for them, and there's other drivers. I'll be the driver of last resort if they need me. But again, it's like a treat.
Yeah.
I used to have hundreds of rides, so I don't need to take it anymore.
Was that how you met Bruce?
Exactly.
Okay.
Bruce actually is part owner of the Duffy boat.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
So John Morris and Bruce McCrae are really good friends.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
And that's how I met Bruce. And Bruce is a great guy too.
Oh, yeah.
Just, this is why I say I'm so fortunate for Boathouse, because of the people. Like, Bruce is retiring from UPS soon, after 45 years.
Amazing.
And, so I built him a new little website he's going to do some consulting.
Okay.
And he wants to start his own podcast. He was on yours about a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was great. It was highly, highly viewed. So I'm very fortunate that I got Bruce on.
Yeah. Great guy. Go UPS.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time UPS guy. I mean, that's the kind of guy you want running your company. That culture, you want that. Because I talk about this all the time, is there's two ways to manage people: the stick and the carrot. Right? And obviously you need to use both. The stick gets things done quicker, but the carrot is more sustainable. Meaning, if you just hit people over the head with the carrot over and over, with the stick over and over again, it's going to change their behavior, but they're just going to do enough to get by so that they're not off the radar. Correct. But if you do by the carrot, like, we're in this together, this is our culture. The rising boats rises all tides. You'll see people go above and beyond. And that's how Bruce manages. I never work with him, but I follow his content on LinkedIn. I hear what he says every single day. I follow his stuff. And that's the culture he has at UPS, is the carrot. Everybody rises. Everybody's doing something. It's a positive thing. So I have a lot of respect for Bruce.
Incentivizing people is a really big part of business. I just did a small little video project in Santa Monica yesterday, and it's for an audio-visual company, and they were setting up in a hotel ballroom. And I was talking with the owner of the audio-visual company, and he's like, "My guys are running a little slow over here." And I was like, they're probably getting paid hourly. But if you incentivize their work, to be faster, to do better, then you're not going to be out of business.
Or even doing what John Morris did to you. That meant something to you. You mentioned that in this podcast. He touched your shoulder and said, "Hey, I saw that. Good job." Just that alone is huge. Acknowledging good work, that is powerful, because then you're like, "Oh, okay, what else can I do to get that gratification?"
That is another way to incentivize. I've been curious too about you and your business and how you operate.
Yeah, I mean, I won't get in too far of it because it's your story, not mine. But basically, I'm a speaker and a coach, and I work with high school athletes and college athletes on mindset, not on the actual sport, but on the mind. So I talk about some of the stuff that I just mentioned to you. It's all about feeling present, being present in the moment. Like, I'm present right now talking with you. And I think that's extremely important, because when you're present, You're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. And that's where anxiety and depression come in, is when you're thinking about those two things. You have anxiety because you're thinking about the future. You have depression because you're thinking about the past. But when you're present, all you're thinking about is us right now, talking to each other. And I think that's extremely important in the coaching space. And that's what I express to the athletes that I work with, that with the anxiety is like when you're in those moments. I work with a lot of golfers. So I talk to them about gratitude. And when you're in that moment, like when things are going well, golf is really hard. I don't know if you play, but it is a very, very hard sport. And it's very, very easy to get in a rut. So I tell them, okay, when you're in those situations, look around, because a lot of times they're on these beautiful golf courses. Take a moment to look at the birds, hear the whistling of the trees. Just take a moment to feel gratitude of where you're at, to put you back into the place. And when you start to feel you back in the place, that takes away a little bit of that performance anxiety. So that's a little bit of what I do. But off the podcast, I'll get into more of it.
Yeah. That's really good. And do you like subscribe to the law of attraction and like manifestation? Is that a big part?
I'm really big about that. I'm huge about that. I have the athletes take a few minutes before the event, maybe in their room or in their car, to visualize the best case scenario, to visualize that they're in the best case scenario. You talk about manifestation, it's all about already done. You already done it. Your mind doesn't know the difference. So it's all about that. You talk about the law of attraction, manifesting it. Visualizing you picking up the trophy, kissing it, or whatever, however you do when you win a trophy, because your mind doesn't know the difference.
That's a really big part. I think I believe in it, but I fail to practice it daily and consistently. But it's in the back of my mind, and I might be scrolling on social media and I'll see a video that reminds me of it. But I think, do you like use daily practices with it?
I do. Yeah, I do meditation work every single day. And there's days where I don't want to do it, and those are the days I need to do it more. If I don't want to do it, I need to meditate longer, to be honest with you. And because your mind's like, I'm not in a good mood, because I'm a human being. I get cranky, I get angry like everybody else, or I get sad. And those are the times I need feeling gratitude, having a gratitude. I think about what is going well in my life in the moment. That helps quite a bit when I'm meditating and I'm going down this negative path. I think about just something, and it could be as simple as I meditate on my bed. So I'm like, I have this comfortable bed I'm laying in right now. That's very, I'm grateful for that.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, how long have you been in Long Beach?
I've been in Long Beach
your whole life?
No. About 12 or 13, I was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's
12 or 13 years old. I should say,
yeah.
12 or 13 years. Yeah, 12 or 13. I'm 43, so.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm still exploring the city. There is still so much more for me to learn about the city and meet people. I got involved a little bit with the city council and District 3. So like the 90803, I was doing some videos for Greg Magnuson.
Okay.
He was running. He unfortunately didn't win.
Okay.
But I was helping with him on some social media videos. He's going up against
Christina Duggan. I just interviewed.
Yeah, you just interviewed her.
Yeah.
And so I know that I'm young. I'm 26, about to be 27.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm going to be involved in Long Beach politics. Just not for sure what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's me using my business services to help other people, but I know I'm going to be involved one day, trying to make a difference. I want to set my roots in Long Beach. And I love the city.
Well, I can already tell you that you've already set your roots here from what the story you told me, and you're already making a difference. So you're already doing those two things. So I don't want you to think that you're not doing it. You're doing it now. So I congratulate you for that. And the fact that you're 26, 27 years old and you got this studio, you're a hustler. I can tell that. And it's funny because when we started this interview, you talked about being a numbers guy, right? And that kind of threw me off a little bit because like I see you, I mean, I don't know you that well, but I see you as a creative guy, right? And generally speaking, and this is not for everybody, but generally speaking, a lot of people are one way or the other, right? A lot of people are numbers people and other people are creative. Sounds like you are both. So it was interesting to me when you said I'm a numbers guy. I'm like, it's interesting because your whole vibe is very creative. So I guess you have kind of the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, I guess I'm fortunate for that. And my father was an entrepreneur, a small business kind of guy. Out of our property, he had his car dealership license, right? So we could sell cars out of our property. And every Wednesday we'd go out to the car auction every Wednesday. We would check out all these cars coming in. We'd test drive them. Ooh, this one, you can feel the transmission's wrong right here. Let's avoid this one. Oh, this car over here just needs to be cleaned up, oil change, and we can make $1,000 on it. And so we kind of pick up used cars, flip them.
Interesting.
Every once in a while you get a lemon and it's like, we got to play all this money and we're not even going to break even.
Yeah.
But I got involved into entrepreneurialism at a young age because of my father. My brother, who's 5 years older, he lives outside of Dallas, Texas, in Denton, has his own business.
So he moved out of Long Beach?
Yeah.
Okay.
He moved out here to Long Beach with me and then went to Vegas and then outside of Dallas, Texas. But he is similar where he's graphic designer. He's an artistic guy. He would always draw. And then he translated this into his business and he's crushing it. So maybe it runs in the family. Maybe it was the way we were raised, but I have that balance of business with creativity. I think I know what looks good. And so I just try and mimic that because I'm not reinventing the wheel, but I also enjoy the business side. I like learning how do people operate? How do these companies operate? How do they make money? Like, what are the roles over here? It's a huge economy and so many different industries, and I find it really interesting to learn about them.
So what is, you kind of brushed over, but who is your right now, I know it could change, but right this moment, who is your ideal client?
It's not a specific niche. My ideal client is somebody who sees the value in marketing through video and website with quality design and good functionality. I'm the gas. I'm not the brakes. I'm not the accounting. I'm not trying to lower your expenses. I'm the investment. Let's throw $3,000 into marketing and get more business in so that you can do your thing. So it's pretty much, I'm the outsourced marketing guy.
Okay.
And it's not a specific niche. It's anybody who really needs that. Every once in a while I think, I should niche down. I should do a specific, like only restaurants, only real estate agents. But I also am a yes man. Somebody says, hey, I have an opportunity for you to do some work. Say, I'm always open to listen.
Of course.
And so if it fits and if I understand it and if there's good energy between me and the client, it's like, yeah, let's do it.
Awesome. And if people want to work with you, how would they do that?
They just have to give me a text, give me a call, follow me on Instagram. I'm getting the podcast studio out. So, I'll ask you though, since you've been doing the podcast, has it opened up opportunities for you?
It's kind of like a resume, if you would. Not so much, I think more of a credibility piece than anything else. It's hard to say, marketing, especially because it sounds like you're a master of marketing. Marketing, sometimes you can't measure it as far as dollars, but it does more than just dollars. It's exposure to people and to places that you wouldn't have had before if you didn't have the marketing. So
that's a really big point.
Yeah.
Because there's been a handful of clients that I've worked with to where they're investing X amount, $10,000 a month into marketing.
Yeah.
But because they're not a simple transactional like e-commerce business. They're a service-based business. It's hard to see the results from that monthly marketing.
Correct.
It takes time. It's like, well, the marketing we did 12 months ago got us connected with this person, and then it opened up this project. So it's like, it's this whole trickle down. But that was a really tough part for me to sell myself. It's like, well, I can't provide a specific ROI.
Yeah.
It's really just exposure.
Yeah.
Getting your name out.
Painting the bigger picture, I think, is what you have to do, right? You paint this picture of not tomorrow, of not today, but tomorrow. What tomorrow? And tomorrow, I mean, years down the road, what would that look like to you if everything went well? And I think marketing is the way it has to be. I find it, in any type of business, whether in your business or my business, you could be the best at your business. I could be the best at my business. But if nobody knows that what we do, nobody knows to come for us for help, right? So
You got to get your name out there.
You got to get your name out there.
People need to know who you are,
Correct.
what you do.
Yeah, you got to be that messenger of your business. Marketing is
So that's what I do for other clients.
okay.
That's in a nutshell. I bring exposure through organic content on social media,
Love it.
and building websites, and I'm super excited. I love working in Long Beach, and I'm really glad we got connected here today and are doing this. I love your journey and what you're doing too, and I hope I can help provide value in the future too.
Yeah, that's been fun. It's been fun getting to know you. But before we end it, I always like to ask this question, especially because it sounds like you were riding your bike up and down Long Beach, so you probably have some food places for me. So what are your favorite food places in Long Beach to go to?
All right, I'm going to be biased here because they pay me. But number one, Boathouse on the Bay.
Okay.
Food's great. Live music every night on the patio. Sushi, steaks, burgers, amazing cocktails. Amazing view of Alamitos Bay. So number one, Boathouse on the Bay. And there's been a handful of restaurants that I've actually worked with, but I'm just going to name off a couple.
Yeah.
The second one was Nico's.
Okay. Naples, right?
In Naples. Built George over at Nico's built his website. And, so it's a really nice place. I've taken my girlfriend out on a date there.
Yeah.
And then a nice little breakfast spot in Belmont Shore. Let's Yoke About It.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's fairly new, right?
Yeah, about 2-3 years now. And Bex.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember her back in the day when she was a server or bartender at Legends, and she was awesome. She was phenomenal. She would go to the point where if your car was in the front of 2nd Street, she would literally go out there and feed the meter so you wouldn't get a ticket. That's how
Hospitality.
That's
That's service.
That is service.
And she's translated that into her restaurant. Let's Yoke About It.
Yeah.
Great breakfast spot.
Yeah.
I know they do some like private events during the evening when they're closed.
Yeah.
And there's been a handful of other ones, but George's Greek Cafe. Love that spot. I love the authentic like family Greek vibes there.
Yeah.
So, and you can feel it when you go and you speak with Nikki, the owner. And I just started working with new restaurant For Sure. It's in Naples.
Okay.
It's a new, modern, really chic. The ambiance it's dark, no windows, and high end.
Where did he take over?
Used to be Chianina's.
Okay. So back in the day, it used to be called Kelly's. That was the famous place there. And then what did you say?
For Sure.
No, but what was it?
Chianina's.
Yeah, that took over there. And then so yeah, that used to be the spot. Kelly's used to be the spot back in the day. So I'm hoping that For Sure can bring that back.
You're gonna have to go try it. It's a really nice, high end upscale. It's very the owner Joshua is kind of bringing downtown LA vibes to Long Beach.
So it's a LA based restaurant.
This is his first one.
Oh, okay.
His first restaurant. He kind of switched over into the restaurant business. And
Okay.
Beautiful inside. Great spot. And I'm trying to think of maybe one that I don't work with that everything I kind of just said was on the 90803.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah. Well, that's where you started from, right? The Naples is right there.
But love some coffee shops. There's 3
Okay.
that I would go on 2nd Street. And I have pros and cons to all of them. So but Aroma to Roma. Everybody knows it.
Yep.
Just about. I love the vibe in there. Food is good. Coffee is good.
Never
The
eaten there, but yeah.
issue though, I like to say the pros and cons,
Yeah.
is that the Wi-Fi is slow. So when you try and work, you can't get anything done. And there's only one bathroom and you need a key. So, and the second place, Sheldrick's Coffee. So
Where's that?
that's right at the end, over by the window, that new
Okay.
new spot, that new.
It used to be Polly's, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So Mike Sheldrake is the owner over there.
Okay.
Bruce McRae, I think, he's a big guy over there too.
Yeah, because he
drinks
used to be
his-
Polly. Because he used to
Yeah.
advertise Polly's coffee too.
Love that place.
Uh-huh.
Coffee's affordable and it's good. They roast it there. Wi-Fi is really fast, but there's no public restroom. So I'll be sitting there.
Oh, no.
Sure, I'll be working. And then the third one, which actually has a little bit of everything, Phil's Coffee. I love it. There's
Almost across the street from there, right?
yeah. Coffee's a little bit more expensive. It is good.
Yeah.
Fast Wi-Fi, plenty of outlets to plug in and charge, and open restrooms. So those were, whenever I go down and work on 2nd Street, Belmont Shore, I kind of hop between those three coffee shops.
Got it. So if you have a little bit more cash, Phil's is the place to go to. It sounds like.
Oh, and it's good coffee too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, Brandon, it's been a great getting to know you. I didn't really know you that well, but I feel like I know your life story now.
That's it. Well, I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad we got to do this podcast.
Right on. It's been a long beach thing.